let's pivot, Eric, a little bit to a topic that is the centerpiece of your book, Is Atheism Dead? We have a beautiful conversation, the two of us, in the movie about this. We're not systematically covering it, but our conversation is actually the roadmap. All the things you mentioned in our conversation, all the places like the birthplace of Jesus, we then physically went to all those places, so we could. It's all embedded inside your conversation in the film. It turns out beautifully. You're going to love it. But talk a little bit about the significance of this archaeology in general and why it's so important that it's happening today. It seems to be providing, you could almost call it secular ratification or authentication of the historicity of the Bible.
That's exactly right. And that's perfectly well put, because we're living in a time now, and we have to be clear. 100 years ago, you couldn't say this. And there are two things that I put in the book, Is Atheism Dead? The first is that science is now today pointing to a creator God in a way that has absolutely never been happening. It is a new thing, and it's astonishing. And the second part of the book, which we talk about in the film, is it's the same thing happened with archaeology. In the last 100 or so years, biblical archaeology is unveiling things that are staggering. It proves with stones, with evidence, actual evidence, that the Bible is history. So those people who 100 years ago or 50 years ago wanted to dismiss the Bible as a bunch of folktales, you say, well, excuse me, what about this? What about this? What about this? Every time we turn around, and this has been happening for decades and decades, the excavations in the Middle East are revealing the Bible to be history. I mean, 150 years ago, this was not conceivable. That the Bible existed by itself. There was no correlation to anything outside of itself. Suddenly now we find things in the archaeological record that prove that what the Bible is saying has reality to it. We are living in very, very exciting times. This is coming out more and more and more. I have to say that it's going to become nearly impossible for people not to believe the Bible is history as the days pass. And the only hope for somebody who doesn't want to believe the Bible is history is, not to read my book, to ignore your movie, to look away. Because once you see what you and I have seen, you say, ladies and gentlemen, it's an open and shut case. If you're intellectually honest, you understand that God is now allowing us to see through archaeology, which didn't exist 150 years ago, that the Bible is actually history. So it's very challenging to a secular worldview.